Hello, welcome to this very special edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at this year's 15th Pittsburgh International Jazz Festival here in downtown Pittsburgh. Christone Kingfish Ingram, brand new record, Hard Road, is his 4th record, and this man keeps making progress by way of not only preserving and bringing a new voice to the blues, but also moving in the direction musically as far as fusing funk as well as R&B into the fold. Now, this new record is going to bring and recharge a lot of his new fans, and tonight you're going to hear him play selections from this new record. Now, this gentleman hails from Clarksdale, Mississippi, and he's part of the whole lineage of the Delta Roots blues tradition. Now, he's won a Grammy and also is a 6-time Blues Award winner, and he's not taken all of this success to his head at age 26. In fact, if you remember, he was introduced to the world by the television show Luke Cage, which was aired on Netflix. But also, he's featured in Ryan Coogler's movie Sinners, which is getting lots of critical acclaim and breaking box office numbers. And I had a chance to sit down and break bread with him to talk about his origins growing up in Clarksdale, Mississippi, who exposed him to the blues and how he got his first guitar, and also talk about his mentor, the great Buddy Guy. Also, we sit down and reflect on some of his influences, including the great Prince, as well as talk about why blues music right now is not in the American lexicon the same as rap, hip-hop, and R&B. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of Mr. Christone Kingfish Ingram performing live here at this year's 15th Pittsburgh International Jazz Festival here on the Pace Report.
Wanna be the one.
followed you probably since the beginning. You're 26 years old and you have a brand new record coming out this Friday. Tell everybody about this.
Yes, sir. So this is my brand new record, Hard Road. It's a very, monumental record, if you know what I mean. It's coming out on my brand new label, Red Zero Records. It's a very different record than my other ones. I'm experimenting a little bit with different other genres, going a little bit, beyond blues and rock and into an R&B and Southern soul space. So it's gonna be a great record for sure.
You've opened up a lot of doors going around the world. You've opened up for the Rolling Stones. You've been an instrument in the vision of blues music. How are you at your particular age revisioning this? Because every record I've listened to, you have really done some things to expand and give it fresh ears to older and the younger generation.
Well, for one, I get called an old soul, but at the same time, like I said, I'm still 26. So what I try to do is I try to take what I've learned from listening to the forefathers and the OGs and trying to mesh that with my 26-year-old self in life, and that's how I kind of come up with a new style of, modern blues in a way, and by doing that, I just mix like elements from my world into that world, like, the R&B or, hip hop of today, I may put that with like a Robert Johnson riff, and that's a whole nother sound there. So,
it's crazy because you won your first Grammy 2 years ago.
Right.
And you were on a historic label, Alligator. What was it like being with a heritage label and now you releasing your own project on your own imprint?
It was a great experience. I had always been a fan of a bunch of artists that was on Alligator, like Hound Dog Taylor, Coco Taylor, and the list goes on. And being over there was also a learning experience as well. I learned more about the business, learned more about the business of the blues, and different people like that. And I took what I learned from there, and with the help of my manager, who's also very valuable as far as information, and that's how we was able to come up with this record label.
I did some time. I used to live in Jackson, Mississippi for a little over a year. And there's a thing called Southern Soul.
Mm-hmm.
Malaco Records is out of
Right.
Southern Soul is a little different than rhythm and blues.
Exactly.
Explain to my viewers what it's about.
So from my view, the name explains itself. It's like a Southern vibe of like modern R&B or something like that. It's kind of for me, it's kind of like the Southern rap versus the other coastal rap type thing. You can just hear the difference in the country twang, and that's all Southern soul is. It's just that of the soul world. A lot of the elements that plays in the Southern soul, like the the synths and the horns, it gave it its own identity. So yeah.
And you got a little bit of that when you play live.
Yeah.
Your keyboard player kind of sticks to the rudiments of Southern soul, and also your drummer, because one of the things I noticed, and I've seen you a couple of times. One of the things that you do is B.B. King, when he used to play, he would play, but he would never sing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You sing and play at the same time. Albert King did it,
right.
And so did Freddie King.
Yes, sir.
That's a hard, because you're doing 3 different things at one time.
Right. When I took my learning at the Delta Blues Museum Arts and Education Program, they kind of taught me, how to sing and play rhythm at the same time, because I'm just not having a keyboard player in my band like a few years ago.
Why?
Cause I just needed the extra help, Cause some of the songs that we were playing, I can play a basic blues all day long, and with a 3-piece and everything will be fine. But I need that extra security with the keyboard, as far as when we playing these R&B songs or whatnot.
Your dad bought you your first guitar.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first guitar, and what were some of the things that you were trying to understand when you got the guitar?
So he bought me the guitar around the time when I didn't have nobody to learn from, so I didn't understand anything. But the guitar he bought me was a Harmony, which is kind of like similar to the old, those guitars that y'all probably used to see in Sears, like Tyco type cheap guitars. It was one of those. And but when I actually started learning, it took me a while to understand getting my fingers trained to hit the strings and stuff like that. And I had to understand all of that, and it was really a whirlwind.
That's crazy because Mississippi, you got Bobby Rush,
right?
Who's still around.
Yes.
Tell me the first time you met Bobby.
Ooh, man.
Were you a teenager when you met him?
Definitely. I first met Mr. Rush, I want to say, man, I really cannot remember.
Really?
I really cannot remember because I've been a fan of him since I was like 5 years old. And I think the first time I probably met him, probably in Memphis or somewhere on Beale Street.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Maybe at the Mississippi Delta Heritage Blues Festival in Greenville, Mississippi. But I genuinely can't remember. But I do know he's like my adopted uncle now. And anytime we see each other, it's love.
He's a master storyteller.
Right.
And the blues, the Delta blues, is always about the experience of death, loss, relationships. How did you come into that? Because blues is not taught, it's felt.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I was beginning to learn and I needed something, let me put it like this. I started to learn around the time when my parents got a divorce. So as a result of their divorce, me and my mom, my mom and I, we became homeless for, it was a very short time, but anytime we don't really have a roof over your head and you living in a hotel scuffling to pay for it, it feels like 1,000 years. So during that time, I was able to learn and from the museum, and I got hired for a couple of gigs, around the time, and that was that part of my life. Then experiencing stuff in school, folks messing with you, bullying you because of my appearance. Then my mom was really sickly, she passed, and all of that played into my music today because I was able to, look at those situations and channel it in my music for sure.
That's crazy because, like I said, it's an experience. You feel the blues.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the three kings: B.B. King, Albert King, and Freddie King.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between the Delta blues, the Texas blues, and then there's the Chicago electric blues. What were you more gravitated to?
So I started off learning with the Delta because I come from that area, Mississippi Delta. So the Delta is what I was first drawn to because that's the foundation. Johnny Shines, Robert Nighthawk, Robert Johnson's Son House. Those are my favorite as far as that. And when I started to expand my ear and got to be like a high-headed teenager, wanted to play a lot of notes and everything, I got into the Texas stuff. And that's the Stevie Ray Vaughns, the Albert Collins, the it's really in your face,
right.
And then and I was a fan of Chicago blues too before that as well. I'm kind of ashamed to admit it, but when I was in 4th grade, I saw the Cadillac Records movie, and which is not a significant source for blues history, but that was my introduction, for the Chicago blues stuff with Muddy and Lil Walter and Jimmy Rogers and Chess Records and stuff like that. So, and
we forgot Kansas City blues too. That's a different flow.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know too much about that. I'm not that much of a historian, like some of my buddies, but definitely, I feel like I have a piece of some of it in there.
You got it. Buddy Guy, very important mentor to you, and I always say Bobby Rush and Buddy Guy are the last of the last. Mm-hmm. Once that train is gone, it's you and King Solomon.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
It's you guys are getting ready. You got a lot on your plate because you've got to stay within your voice, but also you got to carry the tradition of the blues greats.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's a privilege to be one of the ones that's, you know, showing the influence of the forefathers. Not only that, with King Solomon, it's been like a influx of young African American, you know, guitars in the last couple of years, and you know, young kids all together just doing this. Some kids like Matthias Latine, Stephen Hull, you know, all from different parts of the USA, and I can say that the revitalization of the blues is, you know, really looking bright for sure.
What has Buddy Guy imparted in you? Because he produced your first record, didn't he?
Yeah. My first record. Yeah. That's right. Executive producer.
Executive.
Yeah. He pretty much was the executive producer for my first record. Mr. Guy's always been a mentor, directly and indirectly. Indirectly, like watching him on stage and how he has the crowd in the palm of his hands. I've learned so much from him being as a band leader, and directly from him just sitting with me and telling me about, you know, the business and telling me different stories, you know, things that he had to overcome to, you know, get in here and who to trust and not to trust, all of that.
You producing this record coming out. What is it that you want to do moving forward? Because like now the music is just wanting R&B and blues again. All of this rich music is coming. I always say everything old is new again, and you bringing it back.
I appreciate it, man. I just want to make more music, and with this label as well, you know, I kind of also want to make opportunities for other, you know, young players that may not have had the resources that I had, and yeah, man, just, you know, making more music and making more opportunities for people, and you know, trying to stay in great health, and you know, trying to maintain life and balance life. That's pretty much what I'm doing at the moment.
What does Black American music mean to you?
Man, it's the foundation of all, which is the blues. You know, blues is life, and one thing about us, we've been able to take our pain and turn it into pleasure, and you know, that's what life gives us, and yeah, for sure.
That'll do it again for this very special edition of the Pace Report, reporting live at this year's 2025 Pittsburgh International Jazz Festival here in downtown Pittsburgh. I'd like to personally thank the incomparable Christone Kingfish Ingram for his time. Make sure you support his brand new record, Hard Road. It's his fourth record, which is now available on iTunes and all streaming platforms, and you can order it by way of Amazon.com. For more information on Kingfish's upcoming tour dates, club dates, please visit him online by way of Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, I'd like to give a mad shout out to the staff and management, and also the artistic director of the Pittsburgh International Jazz Festival, Miss Janice Burley. You and your staff have done a fantastic job putting a class act festival, as well as preserving, as well as presenting this culture to the next generation. For more information on next year's 2026 Pittsburgh International Jazz Festival, please visit them online at pittsburghjazzfest.org. Also, I'd like to give another mad shout out to Ms. Carolyn McClare for Carolyn McClare Public Relations. Thank you for doing everything as far as arranging the times with these artists over the last 3 days. Thank you for all your hard work and all you do. As always, people, I can't stress this more than enough. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos here on YouTube and Vimeo, as well as leave comments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.